Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. So today I'm going to be doing the perfect palette tag number 1. I'm very excited about this. I have been thinking about this since I first saw palette tags, I started watching YouTube like about a year ago, I guess. So, but they've been around for a long time, and I will go ahead and link the original perfect palette tag below, and I'll also include all of the questions. So if you want to do this, feel free, consider yourself tagged. This is a really fun video to do, so I'm very excited about it. So let's go ahead and just get into it. The first question is, what is the best packaging? And I chose the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea palette that came out this year. It's just so pretty, it reminds me of the ocean, it reminds me of the Little Mermaid, and anything related to the ocean and Disney just makes me happy, and that's just what this makes me think of. So I love that. It's nice and compact. It's very sturdy. It's pretty on the inside. It's pretty on the outside. It has this nice clasp. Wonderful, wonderful packaging. So the palette that I chose for best color payoff is the Alice Through the Looking Glass palette. This was one of those questions that I didn't even have to think about, because all of these shades are, the first thing that I think of is pigmented and colorful. So let me just kind of show you what I mean by that by swatching a few of them here. No, let me swatch Time. That's a really good one. So that's what they look like, and then swatched, I mean, look at the color payoff, this is color payoff. So yes, I definitely would say the Alice Through the Looking Glass palette is best for color payoff. So next we have most versatile. This one was really tough for me because there's a lot of palettes in my collection that I consider to be very versatile. And I'm like, well, is it versatile for me, or is it versatile for, versatile as in anyone can use this palette? So I actually came up with 2. For myself, I would consider my Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette the most versatile in that it just has a good variety of mattes and shimmers, plus it has colors, so it really has everything I need, to do any kind of look that I want to do. So for me, I would say this Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette is the most versatile. But if we're talking about a palette that anyone can use, I think that my Tartelette in Bloom palette is the most versatile because it has that, it has 3 rows, and one is cool toned, one is more neutral, and then one is more warm toned. So no matter what your kind of undertones are of your skin, what your shade preferences are to wear on your eyes, I think that this is really versatile for anyone to use, and the colors are beautiful. Next question is about the best palette for traveling, and I chose the Naked Basics. Naked Basics 1 or 2, to me they're equally good. I just grabbed the Naked Basics 1. As you can see, I use this all the time. I absolutely love this. It's wonderful either as a companion palette or just on its own. When you're traveling, at least when I'm traveling, I don't go really heavy on my makeup. I usually like to do something pretty natural, and this is a perfect palette for that. And with the darker shades also, you're able to do, eyeliners just by wetting your brush or something. You can do contour with this palette. You can do eyebrows with this palette, and also with the Naked Basics 2, or Naked 2 Basics. So I just think that these are the best for traveling. They're so sturdy. They clasp shut. The packaging just feels really nice. They're teeny tiny, so I love these palettes. Next palette is Biggest Regret. Actually, my biggest regret would be the Naked 3 palette. I bought that because I loved my Naked Original and it was getting kind of gnarly, so I bought the Naked 3, and I just didn't like any of the looks that I did on myself. I just felt like I always looked sickly with it, so I ended up giving away that palette. So I don't have it anymore to show you, so I'm going to do my current biggest regret, I guess, which would be the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. It is a beautiful palette. Don't get me wrong, this is a beautiful palette and it looks great on a lot of people. And for me, it's just, I don't know, I bought this after buying the Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette because I loved the Semi-Sweet so much. I was like, I gotta get the original. And then I never use this palette because when I do, my looks always turn out way darker than I want them to, and being very fair skinned, I don't like doing really dark eyes. So this would probably be my current biggest regret. The next question is best color names, and for that I chose the Tarte Holiday last year. This is the kit they sold at Ulta, and I think they're just so clever. First of all, I love Christmas, and so anything having to do with Christmas just like makes me really happy, and all of these names kind of have to do with Christmas and the holidays and everything. So they have Jingle All the Gray, Cheers, Slate Bells Ring, Mint Sprig, Bedazzled Spruce, Bubbly. I mean, I just love these names. Let me give you a few from each palette. Toasted Marshmallow, that just makes my mouth water. Cookie Swap, Twinkle Lights, Vixen, Chestnuts Roasting, Spiked Cider, you know, Dipped in Chocolate, Warm Hearted. Ugh, love them. Okay, last palette. I'm sorry, I just want to share all these with you. They're so clever. Joy to the Pearl, I love that. Glitzy Blitzen, Waltz of the Flowers, Rose Such a Clatter, that's probably like my favorite one. I mean, they just, they do such a good job with their color names, especially on their Christmas palettes, so, or holiday palettes, so I love those. Next palette is Least Used, which is kind of along the same lines as, you know, Biggest Regret, so they are kind of interchangeable, so I just chose another one that I like don't use ever, and that is the Kat Von D Shade and Light eye palette. And as you can see, it's like barely touched. I've only used it a couple times. I've had it for like 7 months now. And yeah, I just don't use it. I think mainly because I have my all of my mattes in my Naked Basics palettes. I also have some good mattes in that Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette. So I didn't really need this. This was something that YouTube made me buy and like I never use. And it's a good palette, but I don't think the shadows are as good as Urban Decay. They're not quite as easy to blend, and you know, the Urban Decay ones are much easier to hold and to work with, you know, just because this is huge. It doesn't have the names printed on here. I don't like the names anyways because I can't pronounce most of them anyway. So yes, this would be my least used palette. So the last question is most used, most loved Desert Island. To me, those are kind of different things. So my most used and most loved palette would be my Naked Basics. This is the palette that I've hit the most pan on. You know, I've hit pan on 3 of the shades in here. I use this all the time. I love this palette. I love the Naked 2 Basics palette. This is a palette that I don't think I could, you know, live without. I mean, I could live without a palette, but if I had to only have like one palette forever, you know, it would probably be this one. But if I was stranded on a desert island, I would probably want my Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. And the reason for that is that it has some variety. I think I would get bored just having my Naked Basics palette on this desert island. Also, it smells like chocolate, and since I'm like stranded on a desert island, you know, that would lift my spirits a little bit. And also, you know, I like that it has the colors and it has like a variety in here. And again, the Naked Basics palette would probably make me get bored and maybe a little bit depressed after a while. So this would probably be my Desert Island palette. So that is it for the perfect palette tag. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, if you want to do this, please consider yourself tagged. Let me know that you made a video and I will be happy to watch it. I love watching the palette tag videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.